Wow, last time we saw Juliet coming up from that dive
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
Silo 17.
Right.
But when she gets to the surface, Solo's gone, and
Hmm.
there's just blood everywhere.
Yikes.
It looks really bad.
Definitely a scary moment. And while Juliet's dealing with that whole new mystery,
Yeah.
things are getting even crazier back in Silo 18.
Yeah, you said it. Mechanical launching that rocket with messages saying that IT's lying.
Right.
That was a major power move.
It was.
And then they cut off the power to the entire silo except for IT.
Wow.
It's like they're really making a statement.
Yeah, it's like straight out of the Rebel playbook, trying
Yeah.
to shake people's faith in Bernard and Judicial,
Right.
highlighting how IT still has power even when everything else is dark,
Yeah.
making people wonder who's really in control.
And it seems to be working.
Yeah.
People are starting to whisper, and even some of the sheriff's deputies are starting to question things.
Oh, wow.
You can tell Bernard is not happy about it at all.
Oh, he's definitely feeling the pressure, for sure.
Mm.
It's interesting to see how he's reacting. Instead of addressing those accusations, he's like totally obsessed with this message from
Right.
Salvador Quinn,
Yeah.
a former leader of the silo.
Right.
He seems to think that this message holds the key to stopping the rebellion.
Yeah, he even brought in Lucas Kyle to help him crack the code.
Right. And he was just a prisoner not that long ago.
Yeah. And usually Bernard keeps secrets like this locked up super tight.
Yeah, he does.
So it's a risky move for sure.
It shows how desperate he is to figure out what Quinn knew.
Uh-huh.
He believes there's something hidden in that message,
Yeah.
something even more dangerous than the rebellion itself.
That's intense.
Okay.
So what is the deal with this code anyway?
Well, it's called a book cipher.
Okay.
Basically, the numbers in the message correspond to specific words in a specific book,
Okay.
but it has to be a really old book.
How old are we talking? Over 140 years old,
Wow.
to be exact.
And Bernard seems to think the key might lie in this copy of The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that belonged to Judge Meadows.
I wonder what secrets that book could hold.
I know, right?
Uh.
We'll have to wait and see if Lucas can actually crack it.
Right.
But even if he does, what's it going to reveal?
Yeah, exactly.
And will it be enough to actually stop the rebellion?
Speaking of the rebellion, the tension between Bernard and Sims
Oh, yeah.
is getting really thick.
It is.
It's clear that Sims is angry that he was passed over for that shadow position.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
Not once, but twice.
It's understandable why he feels betrayed.
Oh, for sure. He's been loyal to Bernard for years.
Right?
And it just seems like Bernard doesn't trust him anymore.
Yeah.
It's interesting how Bernard's paranoia
Uh-huh.
is causing him to isolate himself from the people he needs the most.
Yeah, and he's not just pushing away Sims.
Right.
Remember how he treated Carla
Oh, yeah.
in judicial seclusion?
So coldly.
It just shows how far Bernard is willing to go to keep control. He's willing to use people, even hurt them, if he thinks it will keep him in power.
Right.
And this time, it kind of backfired on him.
Yeah.
Carla is not giving him any information until he tells her what happened to her friends.
Right.
She's tough.
She is. Speaking of Carla's friends, Walker's going through a lot, too.
Yeah, she is.
She's so worried about Carla that she did something super risky.
Yeah, she reactivated that camera in her workshop,
yeah.
hoping to get IT's attention.
Right.
She's trying to use it as leverage to get Carla released.
Yeah,
It's a long shot,
it is.
but you can't blame her for trying.
No, not at all. It's an act of love,
Yeah.
but it could also have really serious consequences.
Oh,
Bernard knows about Walker and Carla's past relationship.
Yeah,
And he's definitely not someone who forgets things like that.
definitely not. Speaking of secrets, what about the food poisoning?
Oh, man.
I was so shocked to learn that the chef was actually forced to do it.
I know. It's chilling how Judicial operates.
It is.
They threatened the chef's sick mother to force her to comply.
Wow.
Shows how they use fear and intimidation to get what they want.
It's scary. At least the chef had the courage to warn everyone about the poison,
Yeah.
even though it put her in danger.
She did. It was brave.
Yeah.
A real act of defiance.
Yeah.
Even in like the most oppressive environments,
Right.
there are still people who choose to do the right thing.
So we have a power struggle, a coded message, and a mysterious attack in Silo 17.
Yeah.
This episode was packed.
It was.
Twists and turns.
And don't forget the ethical dilemmas.
Yeah.
We saw how people like Maeve and Walker are forced to make these impossible choices
Right.
in a system that just seems rigged against them.
Totally.
Makes you wonder what you would do in their shoes.
The show is so good at making you think.
It is.
It's not just about the action and suspense.
Right.
It's about the choices we make and how we navigate a world where trust is a luxury.
Yeah.
But let's switch gears and talk about Juliet's situation
Okay.
in Silo 17.
Yeah, let's delve into that.
Yeah.
Remember the last time we saw her, she had just come up from that dive into the depths of Silo 17.
And the episode really made you feel how dangerous that was.
Oh, yeah.
Solo explained the risks of the bends,
Right.
what happens when you come up from deep water too quickly.
Yeah.
And it looked terrifying.
He did such a good job with the tension and suspense.
They did.
You could really feel her fear down there in the dark water.
And then to make things even worse,
Yeah.
someone cut her lifeline.
Oh, gosh.
They were deliberately trying to hurt her.
Wow. It makes you wonder who else is down there with them.
Right. Who else is in Silo 17?
Yeah.
We know that Solo has been hiding his true identity,
Right.
and he knows things that he shouldn't.
It's like about the legacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder if he's involved somehow.
It does.
Could he be the attacker?
Maybe.
Or is there someone else down there that we haven't even met yet?
It's hard to say for sure. But remember how he was trying to guess those IT vault codes earlier this season? It suggests that he might have a connection to the silo's inner workings.
Yeah.
That goes way beyond what he's admitted.
Okay, so let's try to piece together what we know about Solo.
Okay.
He's familiar with the legacy.
Yeah.
He's been keeping secrets.
Uh-huh.
And he seems to have a pretty good understanding of how the silo actually operates.
Right. And don't forget his fear of water.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He really didn't want to go on that dive himself.
No, he did not.
It really feels like he's hiding something.
Yeah,
Maybe something connected to his past.
maybe.
Yeah.
But if he's not the one who attacked Juliet, then who is?
Yeah.
And why are they targeting her?
Right. She's made some pretty powerful enemies both inside and outside the silo.
She has. We know she was accused of killing her own father,
Yeah.
and she escaped from Silo 18.
I know.
So there are definitely people who would want to see her dead.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But if it's someone from outside Silo 17, how did they get in?
Exactly. And why wait until now to make a move?
Right.
It's possible that someone has been hiding in Silo 17 all along.
Maybe.
Just waiting for the right moment to strike.
Yeah. Or maybe there's a way to travel between silos that we don't even know about yet.
That would change everything.
It would.
If the silos aren't as isolated as we thought, it would mean that the control they have over people
Right.
is even more extensive than we realized.
That is a chilling thought. And it makes me think that Solo,
Yeah.
whether he's a victim or an accomplice,
Okay.
has to be connected to this somehow. He knows something.
I have a feeling you're right.
I think so.
His knowledge and his secrets are going to be key to unraveling this whole mystery.
I agree. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Me too.
Yeah.
The writers have done such a fantastic job of building suspense
Yeah.
and raising the stakes.
I know. I'm hooked.
Me too.
Ooh.
And I'm a little bit scared to find out what happens next.
Oh, me too. It's kind of wild how we're watching these two totally separate stories play out, you know?
Yeah.
At the same time,
Yeah.
Juliet facing danger in Silo 17 and everything falling apart in Silo 18.
It makes you wonder if those two stories are connected somehow.
Yeah.
Like, will the things that Juliet discovers in Silo 17 end up affecting the rebellion in Silo 18?
It's possible.
Right.
Remember, Juliet was already investigating the silo's secrets before she was sent away.
Right.
What if she knows things that could threaten the people in charge?
Yeah.
Not just in her silo, but in all of them.
And if there is a way to travel between silos like we were talking about,
Right.
that would mean that Juliet could bring back information that could change everything.
Yeah.
What if the silos aren't as isolated as they want everyone to believe?
It would mean that their control over the residents
Mhm.
is even stronger than we thought.
Wow.
The whole idea of separate silos might just be a way to keep people in the dark, to
Right.
make them think they're the only ones left.
That's a scary thought.
That-
But let's get back to the rebellion in Silo 18 for a minute.
Okay.
Mechanical is really going all out to challenge the authorities.
Right.
First the rocket launch, and then shutting down the power to the whole silo.
Yeah. And remember, only IT still had power.
Right.
That was huge for Bernard.
Yeah.
It made it clear that IT has like a separate power source,
Okay.
which means they don't have to play by the same rules as everybody else.
It really exposed how much control IT has over the silo.
Right.
But Mechanical's not just messing with the power.
No.
They're also trying to get the residents on their side.
Mm-hmm.
They're asking the right questions about Juliet
Right.
and Judge Meadows.
Yeah.
And why IT seems to be above the law.
They're tapping into that feeling that a lot of people have.
Right.
Like something's not right, that
Yeah.
they're being lied to.
Exactly.
People are starting to realize that the silo might not be as safe or as honest as they always thought.
And even some of the sheriff's deputies are starting to question Bernard.
Oh,
You can
wow.
tell that he's losing his grip on things.
Yeah, and Mechanical is taking advantage of that.
Right.
They're positioning themselves as the alternative,
Okay.
the ones who will fight for the truth. It's like we're watching a revolution unfold in real time.
But we have to wonder,
Yeah.
do Mechanical really have everyone's best interests at heart?
Hmm.
Or are they just trying to grab power for themselves?
That's the question with any revolution, you know?
Right.
It starts with good intentions,
Yeah.
but things can change so quickly.
Right.
We'll have to see how Mechanical handles this new power.
Yeah.
What choices they make going forward.
Speaking of choices, we saw a lot of characters faced with some really tough decisions in this episode.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Like that Chef Maeve who was forced to poison the food.
Her situation was heartbreaking.
It was.
She had to choose between her own safety and the well-being of everyone else.
I know.
It just shows how the silos system
Right.
forces people into these impossible situations.
Yeah, and it makes you think,
Right.
what would you do in that situation? How
Yeah.
far would you go to protect the people that you love?
That's the question we all have to ask ourselves, right? It's one of the things that makes this show so thought-provoking.
I agree.
It forces us to confront some really uncomfortable truths about human nature.
Totally. Yeah, it's not just about the action and the mystery.
Right.
It's about the choices we make
Yeah,
when the stakes are so high.
exactly. But getting back to Bernard,
Yeah,
I still can't believe he brought in Lucas to be his shadow.
it seems so reckless.
It is. It's definitely a gamble.
Yeah,
He's putting a lot of trust in a guy who is just a prisoner.
right.
But maybe Bernard sees something in Lucas,
Okay,
like a spark of intelligence that he thinks he can use.
maybe. But don't forget, Lucas is the guy who risked his life
Oh, yeah, that's right.
to investigate those strange lights in the sky.
He did.
He's not afraid to break the rules,
Nope,
especially if he thinks he's right.
that's true. He's a seeker of truth,
Uh-huh.
and that could make him dangerous to Bernard,
Yeah.
especially if he starts digging around in the legacy vault.
Right. What if he uncovers something that Bernard doesn't want him to know?
Exactly. Lucas could end up being a total wild card,
Right.
and his actions could change everything.
He could be the key to bringing down the whole system.
Yeah.
Or he could become another one of Bernard's victims.
Right. It's hard to say which way it will go.
And let's not forget about Sims and Camille.
Oh, yeah. They're walking a fine line,
They are.
trying to stay on Bernard's good side while also looking out for themselves.
Yeah, they're playing a dangerous game.
They are.
Yeah.
They're clearly ambitious,
Mhm.
but they also know that one wrong move could cost them everything.
Camille is especially intriguing to me.
Yeah, she is.
She seems to be manipulating things behind the scenes, like
Right.
making alliances and playing both sides.
She's definitely someone to watch.
Yeah.
She's smart, she's resourceful,
Uh-huh.
and she's not afraid to take risks.
Right.
I have a feeling she's going to play a major role in the events to come.
It's going to be so interesting to see how all these different storylines come together.
Yeah,
The writers have set up a really complex and fascinating world.
they really have.
This episode really made me think,
Yeah, what really struck you?
it's just how the writers can make the story so exciting with all the mystery and the twists,
Right.
but they also make you think about bigger things,
Uh-huh.
like trust and what it means to be connected to other people.
It's true. It would be so easy to just make it all about the action and suspense.
Right.
But this show really makes you question things.
It does.
Like, would you follow the rules even if you thought they were wrong?
Yeah,
Or would you risk your own safety to do what's right?
those are tough questions.
They are.
And we face them in our own lives.
Right.
Maybe not as big as living in a silo, but we all have to make those hard decisions sometime.
We do. And that's why this show is so interesting, you know?
Yeah.
Even though it's set in this crazy future world, it's about real people
Yeah,
trying to figure things out
right.
and dealing with things that we all deal with.
Yeah.
Love loss,
Mm.
making choices when there are no good options.
When I think about all the different stories happening at the same time,
Yeah.
it feels like each one is showing a different side of what it means to live in a silo.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, you have Juliet, who's stuck in Silo 17.
Right.
She's trapped underground. She doesn't know who to trust.
Uh-huh.
And there's danger everywhere.
Uh-huh.
It's like a symbol for how everyone in the silo is trapped
Yeah,
by the rules, and they can't escape.
that's a good point. And then you have the rebellion happening over in Silo 18. The
Right.
people fighting for freedom,
Exactly.
trying to break free from the people who control everything.
And even the smaller stories, like the chef who's forced to poison the food,
Right.
or Walker trying to save Carla.
Yeah.
It's all about sacrifice and loyalty
Uh-huh.
and just trying to survive.
It's like the writers are weaving all these different threads together, to
Yeah.
create this big picture of what life is like in the silo.
And they're so good at keeping us guessing.
They are.
Like just when you think you know what's going on.
Right.
They throw in a new twist that changes everything.
Like figuring out that the code's hidden in a book
Right.
or that IT has its own power supply
Yeah.
makes you realize we don't know even half of what's really going on.
And that ending
Oh my God.
with a shadowy figure watching Juliet,
Right.
it gave me chills.
I know. It makes you wonder if there's another group
Yeah.
hidden in the silo
Uh-huh.
that's even more powerful and dangerous than judicial Emiria.
That's a scary thought.
It is.
So if Juliet's in danger from someone inside Silo 17,
Right.
how's she going to get away?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to Solo? I have so many questions.
I know, me too. The writers are so good at keeping you on the edge of your seat.
They really are.
They've created this world that's both super interesting and really scary. And you can't help but care about these characters, even when they make bad choices.
It's the kind of show that makes you think even after it's over,
Yeah.
Makes you think about the world we live in and how we would act if things were different.
Yeah. It reminds you that even when things are really bad, there's
Yeah.
always hope,
Right.
and there are people fighting for a better future.
Well, this was a great discussion.
It was.
I bet our listeners have a lot to think about after this episode.
They do. We want to hear your thoughts.
Yes.
Leave a comment and tell us your theories about what's going to happen next.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more discussions about Silo
Yes.
and other amazing shows and topics.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.